Alrighty, hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be teaching you two different things in Photoshop, and those two things are transformation and effects. So we're going to go ahead and get started. There's a quick way to do a couple easy transformations, and that is to either click Command or Control on your computer, depending on whether you have a Mac or a PC. So I'm on a Mac right now, so I'm going to go ahead and click Command T, and it's going to bring these little boxes up, and these little boxes are where I am allowed to transform my picture. So this allows me to resize it. And this one, if I go a little bit outside of any of my dots, squares, I'm able to see a little curved arrow. And with that, if I click and hold, I can rotate my picture. So that is the quick way to do some easy transformations. However, you can also go into one of the menus and do way more transformations than that. And then another way you can do it is if you're already on this, it allows you to change the width and height and your location, which is X and Y. So just keep that in mind whenever you're doing this. If it asks you to put a specific width and height, that's where you would do it. And then I'm going to show you how to get to the other transformations, which gives you more options. So if you click on the Edit menu up here, you can go all the way down about halfway to transform, and you can scale, rotate, skew, distort, perspective, warp, all of these, and flip horizontal, flip vertical. These are ones that I use the most, but you're able to do the other ones. So I'm going to show you what each of them does just for perspective, and we're going to go from there. So scale allows me to make it bigger or smaller depending on which square I pick. So there's what it does. You can just click Control T to do that one. And then I'm going to go back, same one, edit, transform, rotate. That's also with Control T when you can have that curved line. So just keep that in mind. Those two are what brings up Control T. Oops. Transform. Skew is really cool. It allows you to move in your dots, your squares, different ways. It's a little restrictive because it only goes complete vertically or complete horizontally. You can't really bring it in. So if you can kind of see that, I'm trying to bring it down to the left and it's not going there because that would be another one of the functions. So I'm going to click Command Z, Control Z, whichever one you have on your computer. So I'm going to go back to Edit, Transform, and there is Distort. And this one allows you to have a little bit more freedom than Skew does. It allows you to put those dots wherever you want to put them, which I think is really cool. I've used Distort in a lot of graphics. It just makes it a little easier. It gives you different perspective. So that's pretty cool. Edit. I'm going to show you another one. Perspective. This one you can grab up and down. This one's a lot more restrictive than the other ones, but still pretty cool nonetheless. Yep, you can see we're doing it. Changes where kind of shows you a different way of viewing it, which is cool. And then I'm going to show you the other ones, the ones that I told you I use a lot, which is flip horizontal and flip vertical. So that flipped horizontally, and then edit, transform, flip vertical. This one flipped vertically. So that is how you would use transformations in Photoshop. They're super helpful. So you'll probably be using them all the time. Just, it's pretty self-explanatory, but they're always there if you need them. And it's fun to kind of mess around with them too, because if you're doing different graphics and you're like, oh, I want a different size, different, perspective, it's really cool to be able to see it and then easily change it. So there's that. And then I wanted to show you effects. Effects are some of my favorite things. So you can go down to the bottom of your layers panel, and there's this little button, and it's called FX, and this is a new layer style. So I'm going to add a style to my layer 1. My favorite style is just adding a drop shadow, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But you also have bevel and emboss, which kind of makes it 3D. You have stroke, which gives it an outline. Inner shadow, it kind of makes a shadow, but on the inside of the picture instead of the outside, and that kind of makes it darker, makes it look like it's a little indented. We have inner glow, and that one like brings light to the inside, and you can pick whether you want it to come from the center or from the edges, so that's also really cool. Satin, color overlay, gradient overlay, pattern overlay, outer glow, and I'm gonna click on my drop shadow, and as you guys can see, I have this little actually I don't think it's clicked, but sometimes it'll say like in different windows, if you want to see it ahead of time. So with this you can, which is really awesome because you can edit it and see what you're doing to it. So you can change the distance, you can change the spread of it, you can change the size, and then it also gives you a little there it is, the preview button. So you can click off of that if you don't want to see it, or on it if you do. I always like to see it. I always like to know what I'm doing. But that's completely up to you. If you don't see it happening, just go ahead and check that preview button is clicked. And then if you don't have the preview, you can always see it right down over here. The same thing that you're doing to this gray box does to your picture. So you can work on those. The best way to learn is to just keep trying it. But those are effects, and we went over transformations. So that is all we are going to work on today. But I encourage you to try these as much as you can. Try different ones with every graphic you make. It's super fun. Even in the most advanced, Photoshop work, you're using these simple tools. So just always keep them in mind, and I will see you next time.